Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with another Viking Orations. Got another review for you today, and this time I'm going to be talking to you about the debut demo from the band Chasms, entitled Necrotic Ossuary. Now, if you're not familiar with Chasms or Chasms, however you feel like pronouncing it, it is a one-man doom death project out of Pennsylvania. Not quite sure when exactly he started it, but it is all the product of a man going by TC, who handles all the instruments and vocals on here. As I said, this is his debut demo. It is 4 tracks, just a little over 19 and a half minutes in length. It is available digitally, as well as, of course, CD copies, which are only limited to 35, which last I checked, there are still some left. But yeah, it starts things off with this really creepy synth passage that just sounds straight out of a horror film. It's all parts somber, melancholic, it's dark and sinister. And then finally at the 123 mark, things kick into gear. And the guitars on this demo are they're heavy toned with a little bit of a dirty edge to them. And they churn out these slow, chunky riffs along with more kind of mid to fast paced moments throughout as well. The bass is really heavy toned and thick, not overly high in the mix, but can be heard working in tandem with the guitars, laying down a solid backbone of heaviness to the songs. The drum production on here is, sort of raw sounding, I think, but still has a really good snap to the snare. I really like the double bass work and the blast beats on here. Yeah. And then finally, the thing that you notice, really the first thing that really strikes you here is TC's vocals, because they're these low, cavernous growls throughout the whole thing. Not much of a variation in his vocal style. He pretty much delivers the same kind of style throughout. I think he might throw in a few screams here and there, but it's mostly just that low, cavernous growl. And it actually reminds me a little bit of Slasher Dave from Acid Witch. Which, of course, I've always liked his vocals as well. The one thing that I picked out from here is track number 3, Phantasmal Mist, which is an absolutely killer song title, I have to say. I just love the opening riff to this song, combined with the double bass underneath. It sounds really cool and definitely a headbangable moment. And honestly, I racked my brain trying to think who that reminded me of, because every time I heard it, I was just like, man, this sounds like somebody, but I can't think of who it was. And then finally last night it hit me what it reminded me of, and it actually reminds me a little bit of the riff at the 248 mark in Blood Craving by Mortician. I got a similar vibe to it. It's not an exact duplicate of the riff or anything, don't get me wrong. It gave off the same feel and just kind of had that same vibe to it. And like I said, I racked my brain trying to think of who this reminded me of. But yeah, overall, I think this is a really strong debut from this kind of obscure one-man project, because honestly, he does not have any other listings on the Metal Archives, and no real name for him, because a lot of times when you go on there, you'll get a real name, who you're dealing with. But yeah, kind of an obscure project out of Pennsylvania, but still, I mean, it's heavy with some really headbangable moments at times, I feel. And to me, it has a bit of a Tales from the Thousand Lakes era amorphous feel to it in terms of the overall atmosphere of the demo. And part of me wishes that the drums had a slightly better production, because there was a few moments I felt where they kind of got drowned out just a tiny bit, not too much, not too overly noticeable. But at the same time, I think that the way that they are recorded here and everything goes with the kind of primitive doom death sound that he was going for. And this is definitely a demo worth listening to, in my opinion. I will be leaving a link down below to his Bandcamp, where you can check this out for yourself and pick up a copy. I believe, like I said, that there are still CD copies left, and this was also, I believe, put out on cassette as well, which, if it is, I may actually pick up a cassette this Bandcamp Friday, because, certain albums and stuff, I gotta have both versions. I know some people aren't like that, but, I'm collector scum, what can I say? But yeah, I give this a solid 9 out of 10. Go check out Chasms with his debut demo, Necrotic Ossuary. And in fact, this is about the only picture you'll find of the man in question. So yeah, Necrotic Ossuary, 9 out of 10. Go check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching and subscribing, and until next time. stay brutal.